As we approach the 1 month mark of my entrepreneurial journey, I think it's important to really start reflecting on the progress I've made over the past month and really thinking deep about it right now. I want to make this very general. So this is day 25. I want to make this a more generalized video because number one, I'm starting way earlier than I did the other day. I mean, I'm starting 3 hours earlier, which is great. On top of that, that means I'm going to be able to actually talk more in the video and really reflect more on essentially what I've learned and really more so on how I felt about my progress I've made. So just like that, 25 days is already gone. It's flown by so fast. Like, it's actually crazy how fast this has gone by. But let's talk about it, okay? So today, what did I do? We always start off with what I did. Well, I called my first for sale by owner. Attempted. Okay, so I finally picked up the phone and called somebody. I sent them a voicemail. It was a for sale by owner whose listing was half the price of its competitors in the market, which I found very fascinating. And I just wanted to know more information about the home. So I sent him a voicemail, just letting him know that I was interested in knowing more about the home. So while I did that, Tyler, one of these colleagues I work with, was impressed with the voicemail I left because it's hard to improvise on a voicemail and it takes so much energy out of you. But he forgot that I was in leasing for over a year, so I have a very in-depth experience of voicemails, calling, emails, texts, all that stuff, using CRM tools. So it wasn't really hard for me to improvise. With that being said, I'm glad I was able to finally pick up the phone and get rolling, so that's fantastic. On top of that, I also spoke with him about scripts, spoke with him more about how to actually frame what I'm going to say, which was always great. And I finally purchased my open house signs. They should be done by Friday, which is phenomenal. So I should have 16 open house signs done by Friday, which is great. What else did I do? Well, there was a business meeting today. Okay, so the office had a business meeting. It was about what Keller Williams does, and it's called Bold. Okay, so Bold sounds like a extensive mentorship coaching training camp, right? And it's like a 6-week training camp. It costs $800 to join, but they're offering scholarships right now. So I'm hoping to be one of those scholars that goes in for free because I would love to do it for free. I think it'd be a great time. And I heard it accelerates your skills pretty dramatically. So it'd be great to be able to be a part of that and be able to join. And knowing about that was very interesting. Now, let's go back to Tyler, okay? Because I talked about Tyler a few times, but I don't talk about him enough because he's been a really big part of what I've been working on the past few days. So Tyler has been in the industry for about 3 years. He's 28, so he's young. He looks young. You know, we're not much, there's not much of an age difference between him and I. It's only about 5 or 6 years. So with that being said, when we start talking to each other, he understands about my situation. So I tell you guys all the time that, there's some agents in the office who have been so set in their ways that they don't really understand what it's like being a new agent again. And they only get repeat business from their sphere. They forget how to actually generate leads proactively. And so it was great talking with Tyler because he's very passionate about helping new agents, and not in the sense of it feeling very shallow, because he's a very smart guy, okay? So he's very smart. He understands my situation. He's emotionally intelligent. Really, like, seriously, I cannot stress enough how smart this guy is. Okay, so he's given me a lot of insight on scripts, so working on my for sale by owner scripts, and giving me a lot of insight about the office, okay, and just about real estate and about why agents quit so fast, and really some useful information that has helped me. So some of those being, how you should feel regarding your confidence, understanding how you learn, and knowing that sometimes mentors in the office don't know you well enough to know what your learning style is. So they'll put you in one that they're not sure of, in the sense that they might behave a certain way that might not reciprocate well with you, but they don't know how you feel about that stuff yet because they don't know you that well, if that makes sense. So there's a mentor in the office who is very blunt. I believe her name's Wendy. I think I talked about her before in one of my previous videos. But she's very blunt to to a default, right? So she's very honest, and I've been conflicted on how I felt about it because let me just give you an example so it makes more sense for you. Okay, so if you're like not doing something, if you're really messing up with something, she might say, you're messing up on this, you're not doing this right, you got to do it this way. Like very just simple. Okay, so it makes sense on why I feel conflicted about that, because on one hand, she's right, but on one hand, there's other ways you could go about it that's different, right? So this isn't anything personal, and it isn't anything really negative towards her. It's just more so compatibility, if anything. But Tyler is very negative towards that sort of behavior because him and I'm a sensitive person. He's a sensitive person, okay? So when people are blunt like that and they put pressure on you and they get really hard on you, that's only good for certain kinds of people. And let me put it in a way that's going to be relevant to your life. When you start a business, okay, it's important to understand that people learn differently. We learn this in school, even though everyone gets put in the same school system and learn the same way. It's dumb. But anyways, we all learn things differently. Sometimes we're more visual learners. When we're kinesthetic, meaning that we really like to use our hands and really be hands-on learning. There's people that hear. There's people that see, like they have to see it. Okay, so there's different ways you're supposed to learn. And it's the same thing with coaching and development. Okay, so when you're coaching people, you need to understand what motivates them, what gets them going, and what are some things that you can do to make them the best person they can be and also make them be the best they can at their job. So here in mentorship, if I were coaching other agents, I'd want them to unlock their potential. Okay, and they all reciprocate what I'm saying differently. So that's why it's important for me to make it very personalized for them. Me, for example, I am awful with people who are blunt and people who are honest, like too honest to the point where they're putting a lot of pressure and being really hard on me, all right, and not giving me that words of encouragement. Because as background information, my stepdad was like that, very abusive verbally, like very mean, very strict, did not give us any credit for anything really, my twin brother and I. And he was just a very rude, disrespectful person, just in general, like for no reason. So I always had this embedded thought in my mind that there was something wrong with me. And there wasn't, but I felt that at the time. And so I've gotten through so much of that abuse over my life. When I see stuff like this happening of other mentors, behaving like, being blunt like this and being kind of like, almost like you're dumb and like, why are you doing that? That's ridiculous. Like, why would you even think that? It's painful for me because I am already hard on myself. Okay, Tim, community manager where I used to work at for leasing, told me this. Mary's told me this. Everyone that I've worked with in Regency has told me that I am very hard on myself because I expect a lot from myself and I have high standards, and if I don't meet those standards, I feel ashamed. Now, should I be hard on myself like that? No, I shouldn't be. And really, I'm working on it. But when you have mentors who put even more pressure on you like that, it does nothing but hurt you. And I think that's what Tyler was trying to mention to me, because the reason why I'm saying all this is because she came by into the office, okay? And Tyler and I are having a conversation. I'm talking with him, coach to mentor. I mean, Tyler's pretty much my coach at this point. I'm asking him questions, pretty important questions, okay? And maybe we're having a little bit of funny banter here and there. But she walks into the office and she immediately is like, wow, this doesn't look like script practice to me. Looks like you got to get on that. Just like walks there and just goes away. And that really, really turned Tyler off. And I felt conflicted. But he was immediately like, do not listen to her. She's ridiculous. Like, we're doing the right things. And like, that's just really just a throwaway. Like, she doesn't even really care. She's just saying that just to be harsh. The reason why I feel conflicted on it is because my toxic trait, for anyone watching, is that I give the benefit of the doubt to a lot of people. So if people are like that, who are manipulative, or people who are rude, or not saying she's any of these things, but people who are like rude and disrespectful, I try to really see their perspective. And I always think, well, maybe she's right, because I need to be working on my scripts. Like, but it's the delivery that's the issue. Okay? And as an agent, you demand more respect than that. It's just how it is. Like, mentor to mentee, you demand the same level of respect. It's not I'm above you or you're below me. It's always we're the same, but I have more experience than you and I want to help you. Okay? And you're going to bring accountability, you're going to bring coachability, and you're going to bring, your focus and attention every day. And in return, I'm going to give you value and be dedicated and loyal to you. Just didn't really get that feeling with her in that morning, and it did turn me off quite a bit. Anyways, that is my rant on stuff with Tyler, okay? But anyways, let's go back to what I really wanted to talk about today, which is a quick preview on where am I standing in my business. Now, let me just have the people in the office speak for myself. What have I heard since I have been at Keller Williams? You've been showing up in the office every day. You're doing everything right. You are time blocking very well. You're very driven, very motivated, very intelligent, all these great things. What am I telling myself? I'm not making the right progress I need to make. I really am not doing enough for my business. And I'm a very I can't even speak. I'm very unorganized. Now, maybe they're all right, and they probably are right. I mean, all the agents, they've been experienced and knowing enough to know who becomes successful and who doesn't. But the flip side of that is they don't know me like I know myself. And maybe, again, it's me being hard on myself or me having absurdly high standards, but what did I do this month? Well, I hosted several open houses. Any leads that really were worth a damn? No. So no leads really converting into any clients. What about other than that? I called one for sale by owner. Wow. How about what else? I have 130 followers on my social media, and I've been posting a lot of stuff. A lot of traction? No. Although I've been consistent on social media has been the one really good thing that I've been dealing with. Okay, well, let's talk about the other things that I learned. I learned a lot more about Westfield. I've learned a lot more about Central Indiana. I've learned a lot more about real estate in general. I've learned about builders, inspections, title, like the detail, the science behind real estate. But what does that get me if I don't generate leads? So I think I am not doing enough generating leads because I'm distracting myself. I've also been spending an exorbitant amount of money. I mean, the open house signs were $400. That is insane. I did not even consider that in my budget. So my budget is well below 6 months, which means that by November 1st, if I don't make a sale or if I am not working with a client and we're in the pending transaction, I am likely going to have to find a full-time job. That's just how it's going to be. Now, I think it's important to know that I've built really good relationships with people in the office. I think if I get to the point, I will find something that's going to work for me that's salaried based. But again, I don't want that. Okay, I'm building momentum here. And I wish I had my notebook with me, but in the bold business meeting, there's pillars to this. Starting a business. You got foundation. You got concentration after that. So foundation is the first thing you need to focus on. What is your business founded upon? Concentration. Things that you're going to stay focused on. Then you got momentum. Momentum is very important as well. And then I believe after that, there was another one. But then the one at the top was mastery. Okay, I'm still in foundation. I'm still building my foundation. I'm still figuring out my models, my systems. And even though I have a business plan, I'm still not sure, right? So I'm getting to this point in my real estate career where I'm learning so fast and my systems and practices are becoming obsolete every single day, which means that it's very difficult for me to stick to something because the thing I stick to isn't the right thing. So I'm trying to find the right thing. I got recommendations from people telling me to read Gary Keller's The One Thing, so it's likely going to be a book I look into reading. But there is also one thing I want to mention because I've been talking a lot of negative, if you didn't notice. Let's talk about some positives, okay? So what are some things that I am proud of since I've been here? Well, I've been in the office every day. I have not missed a day. I have not slacked off. When I've been working, I am in work mode. Okay, I've been studying the MLS every day. I am asking questions to everybody, learning from literally everybody. Carson, 20 years old, younger than me, in the industry for only 2 years. I learned from him. I learned from everybody. I've been asking questions. I've been building relationships with people in the office. What else? I see. Maybe something that's my mistake and my fault is I always think about the negative. Like, I'm thinking, I didn't meet enough people in Westfield. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. But ultimately, I think I'm doing fine. I think I'm doing all right. But I think there's going to come a point where rubber's really going to hit the road and I'm going to feel like I'm suffocating because I blew my budget. I've spent way too much money. And I'm not going to have rent to pay, and I'm going to have to figure something out fast. That is my biggest fear. And I'm hoping I don't get to that point starting November. I'm hoping by November I still have sort of a cushion of some sort. But what it's looking like right now is I need to generate leads. More. And YouTubers made this sound so simple. Just generate leads. Make it so easy. It's not. Because I think way too much. I overthink it. I think very specifically, what should I say? What should I do? And in return, it's making me lose action. Now, I'm glad I called the for sale by owner. That's a great first step. I made it an effort to call 5 tomorrow. Let's do some progressive overload. Why not? Okay, let's go ahead and sidetrack. Let's think about more good things I've done. I've shown people that I care. I've shown people in the office that I'm dedicated to getting my work done. I've built really good relationships with people in the office. I, again, know more about real estate and know more about the market than I've ever had before. It's not even close. So at the end of the day, have I become more of a market expert? Yes, I have. And maybe that's the only thing that really matters, if I become more of an expert in my field, and I have. So is it really that bad of a month so far? Probably not. Really, it's probably okay. But again, I have high ambitions and high goals, and just the reassurance I'm getting from people is very nice. But again, I just still think there's more I can do. And I've heard from Tyler and from all the agents I know that are mentors tell me that you're always going to feel like you can do more. And that's just a fact. Okay. Again, I told you guys this was going to be a longer video because I really want to make this clear. I am a 22-year-old business owner. I graduated from Indiana University, and I moved to a new life, to the richest place in Indiana. I'm about to work because we're moving offices. The Keller Williams new building is very nice. It's like Wall Street, but for Indiana. It's the second to downtown, working in the richest places downtown. That's all I'm going to say with that. And I really have broken into the higher class. And there's something to be said about that for a few reasons. One, real estate is an industry that attracts a lot of shallow looking people. Not looking physically, but people looking into real estate and thinking of all the shallow. How people are going to look at me when I show homes and I'm in my nice car and my nice realtor stuff, and I get a post on social media and I get to look all cool and be a cool mom or whatever, or real estate dad. I don't think of it like that. And I said this from day one. I grew up broke as fuck. I grew up low to middle class. My parents divorced. I've lived in a home that had no electricity. I've lived in a shitty trailer park. I have only driven shitty cars until this point. My mom raised my older brother, my twin brother, and my sister on her own for over a year. Now, not to say my dad wasn't in the picture. He is. They just divorced. And my mom had all 4 of us by herself. Okay? It looked dark. My sister was on drugs. So again, I grew up through some shit. And so me being here, first of all, me going to a 4-year college like Indiana University was already a great first step for that. I already got to see a new, richer world. This is even above that because now I'm actually talking to real professionals. And it's the first steps to my success. And it's truly a blessing to be in a room of winners. And I don't think about it that much because I'll be honest with you, I don't do a lot of reflecting, but let's go ahead and keep doing this. I am 22. I'm a baby. I'm young. And I am standing in a room with people who make millions of dollars a year. We're standing in the same room. I am talking to them as a colleague, as a complimentary. We're doing the same job in the same building, the same team. And I am with them, a room full of winners. At 22, when most people there are 40 or 50 years old. And I'm already free. If all goes well, I don't have to work another job again. This is my life. And it is a blessing. Truly, if my biggest problem is making $100,000 and working on a business that I love doing, then my life must be really good. And it is. And as I endure this journey, I am going to grow as a person. And I'm going to meet new people. And I'm going to be better equipped at what I do. And hopefully meet the woman of my dreams. But in order for me to do stuff like that, I need to make sure that I become that person. I do the right things. I be in the right places at the right time. And I'll be honest, it's very ballsy for someone my age to go out here and do what I'm doing. But if there's one thing you know about me, it's that I'm a very driven and motivated person. I always have a motor. I always stay motivated. There's nothing stopping me from getting what I want. And it's always been this way ever since I was a kid. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that I would grow up to be such a great, respectable man? Now, of course, let me speak a little bit highly of myself because I rarely do. I've grown up to be a good man. Good at being a man. Do I have room to grow? Absolutely. Absolutely I have room to grow. But at the end of the day, how have I changed the last 4 years? It's actually remarkable. If I would have looked at myself at 18 years old and saw me now, I would love how I turned out. I work out. I look great. I eat well, And again, I don't want to make money just to not have a relationship and have children. And I don't want to be that single guy with a lot of money. I don't want that. But I'm framing and becoming the person that's not going to resort to that. Because I know. Again, when I was 14 years old, I had a huge crush on a girl. And she was new to the school. And my computer is telling me I am losing space, so I need to make this really quick. I had a crush on a girl when I was 14 years old. Really thought she was very pretty, and I did everything I could to get with her. I sang a song in the school talent show. I painted her a sign asking her the formal. I've done so many things for her just to get with her. No, I never ended up dating her, but there's something to be said about that. And it's been a part of me. And I've been destined to be successful because of how I set my life up into this point. Even though I didn't know I wanted to get into real estate, I always knew in my mind that I would be successful because my parents have given me an obligation to be successful. It was just something assumed, something to just know. Of course Nick's going to be successful. Of course Vince is going to be successful because it was crowned to us. Because I'm trying to do what my parents have failed in their early years, and that is to become a success. Not to say they're not now, they are, but I was given a gift. And I genuinely believed that I am born in this world to give a gift to people that I know and love and people I don't know, and teach people what I have learned and offer value, and ultimately make the world better than it was before I got here. We're going to start with day 26. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a good time. And let's go ahead and see what we can do here. Actually, that's a lie. It is day 26. Day 26. Let's go ahead and see how it goes. All right, guys. Good night. Sleep well. And I'll see you guys on the next video.